Okay.
So we call this meeting to order, huh?
Yeah, I was trying to um get the um the Facebook has changed the way they do streaming, and so I have to do it right as um I have to do it right as I start the meeting. I have to do this. So,
Right.
but let me see if I can get it set up here. Otherwise, we'll just do YouTube and not worry about it. But anyway, um, yeah, we'll go ahead and get the meeting started. I see Brian Weasler is on. Brian, you're on mute, but
Hello.
um, we hopefully have a really short
Oh,
meeting and can just chat about cool stuff. But I thought I'd give you an opportunity on um, minutes from the last meeting. Do you happen to have minutes?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, why don't you can go ahead and share, or if you can't, let me know. I'll fix it so you can.
Should be able to hear.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and walk us through.
Okay. Excuse me. So last week or last month we had we didn't read read the meeting minutes there. Sorry. So we read the meeting minutes and everybody approved it. Moving on to the treasurer's report. We didn't have a treasurer report. We are still without a treasurer. That's an open position that we're still hoping to fill. Um, so right from there, we quickly moved on to the old business. Um, with that, we had kind of an update with the virtual Cocoa Fest. Um, Jim had mentioned that he had found a domain name, Tandy Retro Show or TRS Show, that he went ahead and registered and looking at branding that for the virtual Cocoa Fest. He had mentioned that we were going to reach out to Randy with some ideas on maybe doing a survey for possible changing dates and times um, for the meeting. That was another subject that we brought up from the previous month um, about just doing a survey to see if there might be a better date or time for the meeting for folks there, so maybe we can get maybe more attendance.
Mhm.
Um, we also whoops, I think I got the order. I got these out of order here. This comment should have been up here. Sorry about that. Jim had also mentioned about, I'll get that fixed here, about reaching out to other folks there, like on the TRS-80 Trash Talk show there, maybe trying to get more participation versus just Coco, bringing in anybody that is under the TRS-80 logo Z80 or other. So I'll move this up here. I got those out of sequence. Um, Jim also asked if John Mark had any update about the picnic. There was a couple dates that were thrown out there, October 19th, 27th, or possibly even the evening of the 26th. That was around some other events that are happening that weekend. And there was going to be some posting of those out there on the Facebook. From there, we moved on to some new business. Um, oh, not a projector. So Grant had mentioned about a need for a new projector, and he was that Randy needed one there. I mentioned that I have a couple projectors. I did find them. They're at my other. I have a storage unit where I keep some extra stuff. I pulled them out, and I meant to bring them home with me this past weekend, and I forgot to grab that box. So I'm still gonna. I have them. I just need to get the specs to see if that would fit what Randy needs, and then if they don't, then we can cross the bridge of potentially buying a projector for the club. John Mark gave an update about a programming challenge that looking at starting on January 1st. And then it'll go through that first part of the year, and we would announce a winner at next year's Cocoa Fest. Also, John shared some logos that Grant B was kind of designing to maybe come up with a new logo for the club. And then the final thing that we had was Jim announced from the voting from the previous month that he will continue to be the president. John Mark will be our VP. I will continue to be the secretary. And then again, we're still have an open position for the secretary's position. With that, we put a motion forward to close the meeting there. All approved, and we closed at 8:17, excuse me.
Awesome. Any questions on the meeting minutes?
I don't have one on the minutes, but I was curious, we don't have that projector anymore? We bought one 8 or 10 years ago, I think, by now.
Yeah. I think
You
it
go push
is.
those?
Yeah, I think what I understood is it was it doesn't have the right kind of inputs because it's so old, and
Right, yeah.
and I think it was having trouble it getting hot is what I remember in the last call. But if
Oh,
Randy
yeah.
comes on, we can get some more detail from him.
Yeah, I think they were looking for an HDMI input type of projector.
Right, the old one was probably VGA or something like that.
Well, I think it's got
Coke.
composite and yeah, I think it does have VGA, but it doesn't appear to have HDMI.
Right.
So anyway,
Gee, something got out of date.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
okay, just curious.
no, that's fine. Well, do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for October?
I move.
Okay, Brian moves. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So I am going to bring up, I do have some information on the budget or on the financials. So let me bring up some information here. Let me share let me get my screen up here. Of course, it's logged me out because I got logged in right before we started here, but let me let me get things back up. So, okay. And let me share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share this right here. So can everybody see that or not?
There it is.
Now
Yep.
I do.
Okay. So I'm gonna put up. So I'm still learning this, so you'll have to give me a little bit of time here. And I don't have a full report, so I'm not going to ask for an approval this time. But I did want to give, I did want to give kind of an update of where we are since there've been a number of months since we hadn't had anything, in the meeting. But so our total equity, so our total position, all in, including all funds and transactions and whatnot, is almost $17,000. So we continue to kind of stay up in the $15,000-$16,000 range. We've kind of hovered in that range for a couple years. Right now, the thing I need to fix, hopefully by the end of the year, I talked to Eric and I asked him, could you please help me do this? There's about $3,700 worth of, it's represented in this, but there's about $3,700 worth of uncategorized transactions, and they all look like they're CocoFest transactions. So there's a bunch of, auction and the payments for the venue, and so there's puts and takes in there, and I haven't yet been able to go through all of that and work with Eric to get it all sorted out in the various containers. But right now, just at a high level, given the amount of money we have in the bank accounts, which is which is about $7,900 in checking and about $1,700 in, or sorry, $17,000 in savings and about $8,000 in checking. And then, like I said, PayPal has this 3,700, which I believe in. I believe the majority of that is the bulk of the payment for the remainder of the payment for the venue. So if you add all that together, we end up about $16,897 or $17,000 in all in. So my goal for the next month or so is to try and get that PayPal account reconciled so that it's all should be zero for the PayPal account, and then of course I want to hopefully get it done by the end of the year, because once we open up tables at the beginning of January, we'll start seeing additional income coming in probably through PayPal for tables for the 2025 Cocoa Fest. So it'd be nice to get this all taken care of between then. So hopefully I'll have a final. I'll either have it set up in our December meeting or at the January meeting. I'll have that all reconciled. Any questions?
Not specifically on the report though, but we still have an open position for the treasurer. Is that something that we'd want to maybe advertise, like put a post out on Facebook? If there's anybody that maybe has a little bit of accounting experience or something, I'd like to donate some hours.
Yeah, I have posted it on Facebook, but I can refresh the posting. It's been a
Okay,
little bit, but yeah, I mean,
okay. I might have missed that one in the in the feed. Sorry.
yep. I mean, I'm eager to have somebody do this. I'll be honest though, nobody's going to want to take this on until it gets reconciled anyway. So I think, because I mean that's unfair, right? Somebody just starting out into the treasury and then having to kind of deal with all this stuff from Cocoa Fest. So I need to fix this before we, bring somebody in. The other one is I might try and simplify this a little bit. I'm not sure we need this much granularity in um, in our day-to-day operations. I know Brian's on and he took care of treasury for a while. Most of the time we just had the three accounts and kind of what had been put in and taken out of each account in a given month. Um, I do think having the Cocoa Fest piece split out is really nice, because it's nice to be able to show, what's the over and under for the fest itself, right? So having
Mhm.
all those auction proceeds and um, table fees and, excuse me, the dinner and all that, having all that show up in the one balance, and then having obviously the cost of the venue show up in the other balance, so it kind of, we see how, is Cocoa Fest, because everybody wants to know every year, did Cocoa Fest support itself for the year, um, or not? And if it did, how much did it, how much did we raise above and beyond what we needed? Or if it should happen to not, although it has every year for the long as I know, it's paid for itself and then some. But should it not pay for itself, was it $100, which is no big deal, or was it like $1,000 under, in which case we probably got to start, thinking about something. So I do like the fact that Eric had that all kind of split out from a fest versus regular purchases are concerned. Um, it's just trying to make sure that it's easy for someone to take on if we should, um, if we're find someone who's interested in taking on treasury responsibilities. Okay,
Very good.
if there's no questions, I mean, I think we're in good shape. 17 grand is a good place for a nonprofit organization to be, quite honestly. So, okay, that is, I don't know why everybody pinned here, but let me change this real quick. So old business, um, we had our uh, dinner and whatnot. So John Mark, could you give us an update on what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, I went to the TI festival and I guess I had originally planned to leave at 4:30, but they didn't really close the meeting till maybe 5 or 5:30. By the time I got in my car, it was probably 5:30. It took me maybe an hour going through some kind of strange Chicago traffic. I was on Lower Wacker Drive and somebody just threw these cones in the road, and I had to stop and work around them like 3 different times. And I don't know why, like somebody was sabotaging the road. But eventually I got there like an hour late, and Salvador had been there and left.
Mm.
So I showed up and there was nobody there.
Oh, bummer.
Um, but I got a hamburger and enjoyed it. And I went on to the pinball first and then the arcade. I didn't see anybody. I started texting on Discord. I should have done that to begin with to find out if anybody else was there, but I didn't announce ahead of time that I would be using Discord. So, but I had a good time by myself. Nobody mugged me, and it was okay. Um, but maybe we can do something a little better next year, if we're going to do it next year.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I was looking for a Mr. Jim Brain at the TI festival, but
I know, and I apologize. I thought I'd sent a note out, but I know I hedged my bet in the last meeting and said I'm going to try to make it, but something seems to come up, and sure enough, um, all of a sudden, family members decided they were going to be here that weekend, and or yeah, did that weekend, and so I said, well, that's I already have plans, and they're like, well, you're going to need to change your plans, so obviously I had to change my plans, and
okay.
I was, and it was it was kind of last minute actually, because I was like ready to head out on a Thursday, I think, or sorry, Friday, because the show's on Saturday, the TI show's on Saturday. So in any event, I am yet still attempting to get to a TI international TI fair in Chicago in the fall. I've been trying for like 5 years now, and seems like something inspired every year. So this year turned out to be no different. um,
So
so
which
there's
arcade did you guys go to?
oh, go ahead,
Where'd you
Mark,
go?
John Mark.
Well, I went to the Galloping Ghost Pinball first,
Oh,
and
okay.
I paid $30, and then I went to the Galloping Ghost arcade, and the $30 covered both. And I
When did you
I
guys go there? When did you do
I,
that?
I played
When did you guys
Tempest.
do that?
That
What's
was
that?
When did you do it?
that was the
Oh,
26th, wasn't it?
yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
Okay. So I went there when we did during the retro show. It was great. That place is just wall to wall arcade games. It's like
Hmm.
so big.
Yeah, yeah, I played some Tempest. Um,
Got everything in there.
Yeah, I probably had more fun at the pinball place, but yeah, my wife liked something called Dig Dug, and they had like a Dig Dug 2 that my wife didn't even know about, and they had like a Mr. Do, which is kind of another Dig Dug clone. So I think I'm gonna take my wife there, uh, and watch her play some Dig Dug 2 and Mr. Do.
It's a cool
Yeah, those are great
place.
games. It's a great place.
It's
It's a
nice
great
to
place.
it's nice to have the 80s stuff. I don't know, I know a lot of different people like different genres, but that the 90s and the later arcade games, to me they always seemed more complicated. Dig Dug and Mr. Do and Joust and Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man, they always seemed pretty easy. You could pick them up pretty quickly.
I don't know if I can scroll this screen.
Yeah, well,
Um,
looks like it.
yeah, let's see. At 7:37, all Glenside picnickers. I just arrived at Galloping Ghost. I arrived late. Portillo's did not see anybody. I am at the arcade, so I from 6:37 to 8:14, I'm at the arcade. This is me playing Tempest. And then at 9:03, I'm headed home now.
Hmm.
Oh, with 2 thumbs up from Retro Rick. How did I get 2 thumbs up?
EDR Roads and Retro Rick.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, that's my report on what's this called? Discord.
Yep. Okay.
Coco Discord.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun place. Let's go again next time I'm there.
So Brian, can you, Brian Weasler, can you refresh my memory on what was the new business for last time so I can make sure we've covered it all in old business this month?
Yep. Let's see here. Did I close that already?
That's okay. You don't need to bring it up. I just wanted to.
Yep. Yep. I just I'm not sure if my memory's right there. So from the new business there, we had the projector, gave an update. So John Mark gave a programming update.
Mhm.
I don't know if I don't know, John Mark, do you have any update on the programming challenge?
Mhm.
Um, um, I communicated what we talked about to Grant B, and he's trying to put something together. I don't remember if he showed me something or not, but yeah, Grant's working on some flashy way to talk about it and everything. He's some kind of graphic artist by profession, so I'm sure it'll be great.
Okay. What else? What else was in the list, Brian?
Let's see here. Green challenge there. John Mark had shared some logos there that Grant B was working on. I don't know if there's any progress on that. And that was really it. Yeah, because then all we had was just the announcement for the president and VP
Okay.
from new business last week.
Sounds good. I'm gonna bring up, so there's one item I wanted to show everybody for, it was new business last time, but it's old business this time. So wanted to bring this up. Let me share real quick. Excuse me. Okay. And let me bring this up real quick here so folks can see it. So here is our our virtual show that we're going to be holding in January 25th of 2025. Hopefully everybody can see that right now.
We see folders.
Huh?
We see a Windows Explorer.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Focused on the wrong screen.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, hold on here. Let me unshare and share again. Thought I typed in the right thing, but whatever. Okay, here we go. Let's try this. All right, now can you see?
It's working.
Okay.
There it is.
Yes. Yep.
So Tandy Retro Show, and I don't know. We talked about it last time. 9 a.m. Eastern or 8 a.m. Central, and then ends at 4 p.m. Central on the 25th. We have Mark Overholzer's Mark and I have been kind of tag teaming on taking in requests. One of the big things that, and I'll talk about it this weekend at Trash Talk. So there's a Trash Talk show on Saturday, and so I'm going to join the call and bring this show up at that point as well, because obviously it's open to all the Tandy products, not just the Cocos. But Pete Satinsky sent a note to us and said that he'd really like to show off his Tandy 10. And so I don't know if folks know about this or not, but before Radio Shack got into the computer business with the Model 1, and then of course the home computer business with the Coco and the MC10 and so forth, um, for like a year or so, they actually sold another product, and I'm gonna butcher the history on it, so you'll just have to go read about it on Wikipedia. But it was a computer that was, I think it was an S100 based but bus machine, um, and it was manufactured by another company, so it wasn't manufactured by Radio Shack, but they branded it the Tandy 10, and it was this. You've probably seen pictures of it. It looked more like a mini computer. It was a desk, and it had the computer was built into the side of the desk, and then it had a terminal, which I think wasn't even from the same company. I think it was like a ADM or something type terminal. Anyway, so it was branded as the Tandy 10, and they sold it for a little while until they started up with the Model 1. And I didn't even know they even existed anymore, but Pete has an actual Tandy 10 with the uh, uh, teletype or glass, the TTY and the like I said, it came in a desk format and had where the drawers would be was where the computer is, big 8-inch floppy drives, if I remember correctly. And so hopefully he's going to show that off. So I think that's going to be really cool. And of course he didn't want to bring it to a show. So the virtual show is a great option for him to show that off. So I know it's not necessarily a Coco thing per se, but it's kind of a historical artifact. And I don't know if he's got it running or not, but either way, I think it'd be cool to see. Um,
Hmm.
there's another individual that's looking to show a homebrew 6809 based machine. So I know there's that. There's some hardware projects folks have indicated that they should have ready to show off at the show. Um, don't know that I've seen any software presenters as yet. So one of the things I was going to suggest is obviously folks are going to hopefully be seeing this, and we're obviously interested in folks sending a note to the email address here or the Facebook group if they're looking to present. But definitely for the group here, if you know somebody or you're interested in showing up a project, like I said, something that uh, that's going to be hard to bring to Coco Fest, or you're not sure you're going to be able to come to Coco Fest this year, but you've got something to show, or the item itself is, it really only makes sense to show it off in the context of where it's sitting as opposed to picking it up and bringing it to the show. I think those would be excellent options for Tandy Retro Show.
Yeah, L. Curtis Boyle and I, we're throwing around a couple ideas about two projects that him and I have been working on. One is a continuation from the machine that we presented last year's Cocoa Fest, and another new project that we've started here about a month ago.
Hmm.
And so we're thinking about maybe doing a little presentation as kind of a update slash teaser for Cocoa Fest. So
Okay,
we may
cool,
have something. Hmm.
cool. Well, let us know. And like I said,
Yep.
if anybody else is in the um, viewing right now and is interested, I mean, it's pretty low impact. If you've got a camera and even on your phone or whatnot, um, we'd love to spend a half an hour or 45 minutes or whatnot. Um, you know, I think I'd mentioned this. I don't, I'm not sure if I mentioned it for last year or not, but I remember when we had the kind of unofficial show during the year that we weren't able to have an actual Cocoa Fest because of COVID. And I remember thinking it was really cool. I did I did a presentation here in my lab, I guess. And a lot of people were interested in the lab itself. They were like, oh, what do you use for, soldering? What do you use for, the oscilloscope and whatnot? It was kind of cool to see. I mean, obviously, I know what my lab looks like, but I always thought it'd be really cool to see um, other folks who have a computing space. It doesn't have to be a hardware lab, but maybe they've got a couple Cocos set up. I know Ron Delvaux has a like a garage and he's got a bunch of machines set up. so that he can play around with different systems and whatnot. I think I don't know. I find that kind of interesting just to see how people have their environment, their kind of collection or whatever set up and how they use it. So I'm hopeful there'll be some people that may not have a big project, but are like, listen, I've got a little thing going on, and of course I've got my little, space that we've got carved out in where we live, for my cocoa equipment or my Tandy equipment or whatever, um, and so I'm going to show it to everybody because I'd be interested in that probably just as much as I am in the presentations itself. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Obviously, feel free to go to the website, and I think it's up and running and can accept submissions and whatnot. I don't actually have any new business. Obviously, wanted to wish everybody in the U.S. a happy Thanksgiving because we won't have another meeting until after Turkey Day. But does anybody have any new business? Okay, silence. Silence is golden. So with that, I'd love a motion to close the meeting early, a half-hour meeting. You can't beat that.
Motion to close.
Okay, there it is.
I'll second.
Any opposed? Good. Well, I know, not that I'm not interested in chatting with everybody, but I know folks are busy, and I know there's some other stuff going on Thursday night. So glad y'all could join, and thanks for support, and I will see you next month.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good week, guys.